This is a beautiful day here in Boston in June, and I'm heading out to the office. And the question that had come up online regarding the different types of Scalp files and the specific uses and their indications and so on, and I thought it was a pretty interesting question to talk about. So let's go inside the office so we can talk about the Scalp files and the different varieties and flavors and what they're for. Alright folks, so now we've come inside, and I wanted to do a quick video for you guys to discuss the 4 different types of Scalp files that are available for you to use. Now, Scalp files are the files that are sold through Brasseler USA, and these are files that are used to scout down the canal. These are night-eye files. Other manufacturers have their own types of scout or path files, or several different names, all of which do essentially the same idea and concept, which is help you get down canals in a predictable fashion by using thinner files of different designs to help accompany your stainless steel hand files to safely get down the canals. Now, I would like to make a big distinction and clarify a rule that I always talk about in my presentations, and it's something that I think everyone should keep in mind. I personally believe, it's my opinion at least, that you need to use stainless steel for length and then use night-eye for width. What that means is that it's always a good idea to have a stiff stainless steel file in smaller sizes though, so that it's very flexible, such as sizes 6, 8, or maximum of 10, in order to find your path down the canals. However, that doesn't mean that you should be instrumenting completely with your hand files, because that, in order to gain width, I think these files are great for creating, catheterizing the canal and just getting down, and then follow that up with a night-eye instrument to much more efficiently give you width. So my rule that I talk about is stainless steel for length, night-eye for width. But that doesn't mean that you need to take your stainless steel hand file, such as the 6 or the 8, all the way down to the apex right off the bat. The whole essence of crown down technique and this concept of hybridization of tapers that I've explained in previous videos is that you are essentially moving down with your stainless steel a little bit until it binds, and then you come back with a night-eye file behind it and enlarge it. And then you have your stainless steel go down a little bit more, and then your night-eye file will go a little bit down beyond that. And each time, what the night-eye does, because of its taper, it reduces the coronal restrictions for the stainless steel hand file to move down, and that small tip of the stainless steel file will catheterize its way down the canal. That is the rule that I've been talking about now for years: stainless steel for length, night-eye for width. But it doesn't mean that stainless steel has to reach the apex off the bat, and that is a very important distinction to make sure that you follow. Okay, so now that I've made that clear in this video, I'd like to also show you these 4 different brands of Scalp files that are part of the Brasseler's line, which we have actually helped develop for Vibri Waldenda. So the 4 types of Scalp files are the race Scalp files, you have the ESX Scalp files, you have the endosequence Scalp files, and you have the ESR Scalp file. Now the ESR in this case is a 21 millimeter, that's why it looks a little shorter, but it comes also in 25 millimeter. The race Scalp files they come in sizes 1002, 1004, and 1006. There are also some accessory 15 and 20 02 files. That's a pretty nice and complete setup there. These 10, 02, 04, and 06 are now used in conjunction with the XP line of instruments in order to give you some initial concept of getting down canals. The ESX files is only 2, and it is essentially a size 1502 and a 1504 file. And these are very nice instruments. I use the 1502 all the time for measuring working length in conjunction with my EndoSync Plus, because it does a great job of going down, and then I have it on apical stop. So as soon as it reaches the apex, the file stops. My assistant moves the stopper to the reference point. I remove it, I measure the length, and then I disconnect the EndoSync, and I move on with an analog reading using my endo ring. So the key here to remember is that these race and the endo sequence, or the race and the ESX scout files, are austenitic in nature. But then these next two scout files, which is the endo sequence and the ESR, which is the reciprocating instrument, that is a reverse reciprocating cutting instrument, the ESR file, these are martensitic, so they're heat treated. The endosequence scout file is unique because while both the race and the ESX scout files are triangular in cross section, the endosequence scout file has a hero design in cross section. So it's a very different design in cross section. Furthermore, the cutting shank is only 12 millimeters, and that's why when the endosequence scout files first came out in sizes 15, 17, 20, and 25, they were used primarily to scout, and then in combination with the regular endosequence files, this blended instrumentation protocol for achieving synchronicity was used. Later on, because the endosequence scout files themselves were so popular, these other sizes, 30, 35, 40, and 45 were added, so that now the endosequence scout files on their own are a complete instrumentation system that is used for full instrumentation, and there is also gutta percha that is synchronized to the shape of these scout files, and that's why some people prefer the way they cut because they're so smooth. They have modified lands, and people prefer to use the endosequence scouts either in combination with the endosequence and the blended protocol or as a standalone system that they're using for minimally invasive preparations because of the smaller taper and smooth cutting capability that it has. The endosequence reciprocating, or ESR, is also heat treated, is triangular in cross section. However, the rest of the ESR files, the size 25 and the 35 and the 45, are parallelograms in cross section. So this is a unique kind of a file. All right, so now we know the 4 different scout files and their properties. Also these stiff files, stainless steel stiff files that come in size 6, 8, and 10, and also larger, but I would only recommend 6, 8, and 10. I also want to talk to you a little bit about these 2 orifice openers, the endosequence orifice opener, which is the new edition, which is a shorter file, orifice opener, and the original ESX file. Both of them are 2008, but they have tighter fluting and shorter for the endosequence and a wider fluting for the ESX. So ESX works nicely in patients that have either deeper chambers or wider canals, but for thinner canals that are in molars and difficult to reach areas, the endosequence orifice opener, I think now, is my favorite orifice opener that I use all the time for the more advanced cases. And that pretty much sums it up. So the 4 different scout files and their properties and their design differences, as I mentioned here, in both cross-section and metallurgy. The motion that they all use is all 3 of them. These first 3 that are endosequence, ESX, and the race files, they use rotation in clockwise direction. The ESR uses asymmetrical reciprocation in counterclockwise direction. And that's pretty much it, all the features of these files. All of them help you, along with your stainless steel hand files in smaller sizes, get down canals safely and hopefully help improve your efficiency and the safety of your instrumentation. If you have any questions, please write down below. If you use any other instruments or any other specific questions you have, comment below this video. I'd love to hear back from you. For Rubel Dindo, I'm Ali Naseh, and let's save some teeth.